Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dellyn Digital, just a recruiter that loves playing video games and love recruiting and everything that goes in between it, from the job seekers to the actual recruiter. I got like about 10 plus years of experience in HR and recruiting. And today we're going to be reacting to CNBC's The Truth About AI and the Mass Layoffs. Now, this is going to be quite interesting because AI is all the buzz. So, quite honestly, let's jump into it, react to it, and check out what the comments have to say.
Between January and September 2025, there have been more than 946,000 job cuts announced.
Wow. So, right out the gate already, that's a lot compared to prior months, heck, prior years. So, something's up. And AI is honestly part of it. It's not fully to blame, but it's a massive chunk at least.
With roughly 300,000 from the government sector.
That's
Yeah,
the
those
highest since
government
2020. It's a
layoffs, man.
55% increase from what we saw last year through the same time period.
It would make sense to think AI is to blame for the layoffs.
Now that we've had generative AI come in and kind of change the equation, investors and boards are asking management teams, how are you using AI? Why aren't
And I just now noticed that if we could kind of go back a bit here, she's a retail reporter. Now, I used to had to recruit for retail in a past life, and that is still kind of human based for now. As you could see from the AI boom, what's going on. Amazon for sure, with their warehouses, they're cutting the middleman out, which is they're having lower amount of workers there, and it's a bunch of bots moving the boxes around that we order from our Amazon Primes to Mr. Jeff Bezos. So it's going to be real interesting how the retail sector handles AI. I mean, I don't see AI bots at your local Walmart for now, but it might come sooner than you think.
teams, how are you using AI? Why aren't you using AI? Can
Hmm.
AI help you streamline costs?
Hmm.
But the
It's
latest
always
round of
about
layoff
costs.
announcements in the fall of 2025 suggest AI might not be the root cause of the restructuring.
See, and look at that. We kind of spoke about that a little bit earlier. See, look, Salesforce, Amazon, forgetting what this one is, but restructuring when it comes to these other companies that we're seeing. Target, aside from the restructuring, Target, there was a huge boycott for Target. You guys probably heard about it. If not, look it up on YouTube. You'll probably see something about it, and that hurts its Target's budget for sure. Paramount, UPS with those 30, I think it was like 90,000 layoffs, and also another good boycott of Starbucks. $9 coffees. No, I'll be going to the corner store or making my own. Thank you.
They also seem to be real signs that something new is happening, that we've turned a corner in the economy.
So we've seen a wide range
Mhm.
of reasons. You're not really seeing companies say, I am cutting 10,000 employees and replacing them with one single computer.
Using AI and introducing it to save jobs turns out to be an enormously complicated and time consuming exercise. I think there's still a perception that it's simple and easy and cheap to do, and it's really not.
There's no doubt AI is a powerful
There's
force
layers
in the
to
economy
this.
right now. The extent to which we think it's affecting the economy and hiring is in graduate level, low skilled jobs. We haven't been able to find yet much evidence that AI is capable at this moment
And
of taking over sort of white collar middle management jobs.
yeah, and that's especially and I recently did a reaction video to one of these about college students having a hard time, even having a hard time getting food and finding food because they don't have no money, right? Paralegals, accountant assistants. I used to be an accountant assistant way back in the day, back in wow, I'm aging myself here. 2014, right? And I was a bookkeeper's assistant. That's how I got my first thrust role in the 9 to 5 world. And plus, I was a librarian as well at my local college. But yeah, these entry level jobs are getting removed. Like Thanos snapped out of existence. And college students need to be either thinking about how they can utilize their skills and start their own businesses, small businesses, and just kind of go from there. Get their name out, get the word out of what they do and how they add value to people, and just learn what AI is doing in the sector.
So, why are we seeing so many layoffs? And how much of it is because of AI?
The mighty bull.
Wall Street has been hyping generative AI innovation for several years now, which is putting pressure on executives to make it a part of their business model. 79% of CEOs in the US said they feared they could lose their jobs within 2 years if they
Mhm.
didn't deliver measurable AI driven business gains.
Investors need to be
It
a little
always comes
careful
from
with
the
what
top.
some people have called AI washing. And what that is this idea that because business is deteriorating or there's some difficulty going on with the business, you say, oh, we're letting people go
Man,
because
she
of
threw that book
AI.
in
No,
hard.
you're letting people go because the business is hurting and calling it AI, and because Wall Street is buying anything with the letters A and I attached to it. And so what you
Mhm.
might find is you would actually get a bump in your stock because you're letting people go because of AI.
There's
Exactly.
this
And it
kind of
happens every
financial
time.
fiduciary
Look at
incentive for
Microsoft.
management teams to say they're using AI and say that strategies are related to AI, even if it's not totally related to AI. There's been surveys that have come out that found companies are attributing certain strategies and plans to AI, but it could be as
Just for
simple
show.
as,
Wow.
using AI to write an email for you, right? Is that
Mhm.
really a revolutionary use of this technology? No,
It's
but
not.
can you say you're using it as part of your strategy? Technically, yes.
We spend a lot of time looking carefully at companies that are actually trying to implement AI, and there's very little evidence that it cuts jobs anywhere near like the level that we're talking about. And in fact,
Mm.
most cases, it doesn't cut headcount at all. It may come effectively later on by improving productivity, so you get some of the effects of it. But it turns out it's really, really hard to cut headcount with AI.
Even Meta's decision to cut 600 workers in October 2025, they cut those workers from their AI unit. And that's because the AI unit had gotten bloated. They'd hired too many people. And especially at these tech firms where the idea of integrating new technology, innovating, and disrupting, you cannot have 10 people
Yeah,
that
I'm
you
not
have to
there
go
yet
to
using
make a decision
the
if you want to be a
glasses yet.
disruptor and an
Not yet.
innovator.
Companies are announcing big layoffs all the time. In a
Mm.
given year, there could be 1 million announced layoffs. The question is whether or not there's other hiring going on. And the problem we have is that there's no official hiring data.
We've seen a wide variety of
And that's
reasons for the
coming from the
layoffs that we've seen in
companies.
recent
They're
months.
behind the
Sometimes
data.
it's
So
related to a larger restructuring at the company, an effort to reduce costs. Sometimes it's related to changes in the business. This is kind of a trend in corporate decision making where big corporations become really fat over time, right? You have all these layers of middle management, and it takes a long time for people to get things done, right? Corporate employees spend a lot of their times in meetings, they spend a lot of time talking about work, but not a lot of time actually doing work. As
and quite honestly, I honestly noticed a lot of that when I was laid off. There was a lot of meetings, 3-hour meetings, going over things and data and stuff like that. And I was just saying to myself, man, I just want to get back to the work. Lo and behold, I got laid off regardless. But um, you know, and middle management, it becomes an issue, right? You don't get the work done, and it's just wasted time for the company overall. And when I was doing, I recently did a company checkpoint on EA, right? And also on Xbox, Microsoft's Xbox. You could check it out. It's called the Company Checkpoint. Cool podcast that I made, just sitting down talking about the Glassdoor reviews and the current events of a company. Right now, I'm doing game companies, but I'll do others in the future. But yeah, it's a lot of people in those reviews were saying that, yeah, there's a lot of middle management, there's a lot of red tape, something that we normally see in these big companies. And trimming the fat, it makes sense. It makes sense.
we enter into leaner economic
It might be
times, you're
cold,
seeing
but it's
companies kind
business.
of rethink their corporate structures. Do I need 5 layers of management for one project to get done? If I cut out 3 to 4 of those, how quickly can we actually have this project out in front of customers? And when you're in a high interest rate environment, the job market has become weaker, consumer spending has become weaker. You don't really
Hmm.
have the luxury to have 5 layers of management to go through every time time you make a decision.
I think in general, they just don't seem
Cut
to
through the
worry
fluff, man.
about the consequences of overcutting, nor do they worry about the consequences of what happens if they're guessing wrong about recession. So there's been some interesting research over the last couple of years showing the costs of doing that. And basically, the short conclusion is the longer you can resist a layoff, the better your financial performance is likely to be. And part of that is because you don't save as much money by cutting as you think, but also on the rebound, it takes you a while to bring new people in, get them settled, not disrupt the
It
place,
does.
and then turn things around.
At
There's
least
a
90
great
days plus.
story out there that maybe people want to tell about the coming revolution of AI wiping out all the jobs. Let's just be skeptical of that till we have a little harder evidence.
Let's see what the comments have to say about it. Let's see. So first comment says, so the classic, sell me this pen. It got AI in it. Oh man, what else we have here? AI should be able to take over the CEO jobs, if anything. I attest to that. Yeah, that should be interesting. Seeing an AI be the CEO of a company, that would be quite interesting. I'm sure it's like happening right now without people letting us know, corporate greed and convenient excuses that blindly boost investor confidence. It was greenwashing in 2010s. Now it's AI washing in 2025, maybe even 2026 as a recording of this video, But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about AI, the rise of AI? It honestly still becoming a huge boon in 2026 right now, just focusing in on the video game space right now. There's a lot of RAM. It's a lot of RAM issues right now when it comes to these things. And the reason why I'm bringing up RAM is because the data centers that's going to be getting built at these places. So you're going to be seeing electricity bills go up for local places. You're going to see a lot of RAM going mostly towards these data centers and less games, maybe in 2025. Because we won't have, when I mean the gamers won't have access to said RAM to build these computers and build these systems, right? So it all comes through AI, and it's really fascinating to see how it affects not only the job hunt, but also the games that we love to play. So let me know in the comments what you think about this, and I'll see you guys in the next level later.